Hello, guys. Welcome to this second lesson in Jenkins. My name is Eric Patterson. Today, I will teach you guys how to install a plugin in Jenkins. Then we'll have to talk first about what is a plugin in Jenkins before we try to install it. So, most of people, they don't understand the concept of plugin in Jenkins. So we're going to ask ourselves here, what is a plugin in Jenkins? So the plugin in Jenkins is just a piece of software that extends the functionality of Jenkins automation server. What does it mean? The plugin is just an element that Jenkins will be required to be able to talk to other tools. Most of the time, those are SaaS tools. If we take an example here, for you to make a cell phone call, you will need connectivity. So, for example, here, you have your phone here. If you want to talk to someone here, you will need the network connectivity. So the plugin works the same. So, like for example, for Jenkins to talk to any other tool, we need a plugin. If you come here, for example, for Jenkins to go ahead and clone a repository, you will need a GitHub plugin so that you can go ahead and clone that repository. For example, for Jenkins to actually publish a build result to SonarQube, like a pass and a fail to SonarQube with all the analysis, Jenkins will actually require the SonarQube plugin. For Jenkins to go ahead and publish, for example, the build status on Slack, Jenkins will go ahead and require the Slack plugin, or the same thing for Jenkins to go ahead and publish the images to like Nexus repository. Jenkins will also need the Nexus plugin. So a plugin is just that middle element between the SaaS tool, I would say, and Jenkins, that is required for Jenkins to go ahead and talk to those tools. So to ease communication between Jenkins and any other tool, can be Datadog, can be SonarQube, GitHub, Slack, ECR, for example, EC2, for example. Jenkins will actually need plugin for those tools to go ahead and do that. Same thing goes for like GCP and Azure. Jenkins will go ahead and need a plugin. Now, let's jump into the topic and see how we can go ahead and install a plugin in Jenkins. I have a fresh Jenkins server that I spawned here. So to install plugin, it's easy. You have two ways. You either click here to manage Jenkins. For manage Jenkins, you come here to manage plugin, or you can go back, or you can come here on this dashboard menu. You can see when I put my mouse on the dashboard menu, you have this little drop down. You can click on the drop down. From here, you will hit manage Jenkins, and then you can just hit plugin here. So when you get to the plugin panel, you have available plugin, install plugin, advanced setting, and download progress. So what is an available plugin, right? Update here. Here you will see all the plugins that need update. They will pop out here. This is a fresh Jenkins. So almost nothing is installed there. That's why you don't see anything here. So if we come down here, available plugin, here, these are like the marketplace where you see all the plugin. Here, only few are published, and if you want to search for a plugin, you tap here to search for a plugin. Install plugin. These are the plugin that are already installed. Usually, if you come here on available plugin, you search for a plugin. For example, if you don't see it, it means that that plugin has been installed. For example, here we have all these plugins. These are the plugins that have been installed already. If you look at here, the GitHub plugin, for example, if I come here on available, then I type GitHub, it's not going to show me the GitHub plugin because the GitHub plugin has already been installed. So if I come here, then I type the same GitHub, it will show me the GitHub plugin because the GitHub plugin has already been installed. So now you have advanced setting. It is here that you can also install a plugin differently. So I will show you how to install plugin in two ways. Let's take a plugin like SonarQube, for example. The SonarQube plugin, the Sonar Scanning plugin. If you want to install the plugin in Jenkins, what you need to do, you have to go to, for example, to available. Then you type the plugin that you want to install. For example, I type Sonar. It gives me this SonarQube, Sonar quality gate. So let's pick one. If you want to integrate Jenkins with SonarQube, now we come here and actually pick this plugin, and you can install multiple plugins at the same time. So you can click like on multiple plugins at the same time. Once you are done clicking on them, you go ahead and you install. This window will pop out and it will show you when the plugin is installed. Then you have a choice at the end. It's either you can restart the Jenkins or you can just continue doing what you are trying to do. So if I click here, it will restart Jenkins. I will have to wait about a minute or two. Or if I click here, I can just continue doing what I'm doing. So this go ahead and install Sonar plugin to see that was installed. Whenever you install the plugin, to see whether to see if the plugin has been installed, you can come here on Manage Jenkins and come here on System, and you look for that plugin. We install the Sonar Cube plugin. We'll be able to see here. If we scroll down, see here Sonar Cube server. Now we can add, we can configure, go ahead and configure that plugin here. For example, which is be the object of a later video. If we go back to our plugin section, for example, I have Sonar Cube installed. If I go to install and type Sonar, be able to see the Sonar, the two plugins that I install for Sonar Cube. Also, there's another way to install plugin. For example, let's say I want to install the Slack plugin. I can either download that plugin and install it. If we come here, for example, on available plugin, if I type Slack here, I will see the Slack plugin here. If I right click here and open a new page, for example, this is where the plugin documentation is. And if I click here on release, it will show me everything about that release. And that is where you want to install like a specific version, right? Because if I go ahead and install Slack, what it's going to do is that it's going to install the latest version of Slack, right? Which is this version here of Slack. But what about if, for example, at work, what I'm trying to do required that I install this version of Slack, for example? It's easy. You can just click on this version. It will go ahead and download it for you. You go back to Jenkins instead of coming here, instead of checking here and install, because if you check here, like I said, it will install this 6.84 v8, but the one that we just decided to install is this one, 625 v8. So if I come down here, if I go to advanced setting, for example, and I scroll down here, I go to this deploy a plugin, I can pick file here. I can go to download, pick up this, it will upload that. Then the only thing that I need to do is to deploy. You guys see the same thing. If I come down here, come back, go back to manage Jenkins, system. If I search, if you go further down, we will see Slack. So the Slack plugin has been installed. So just to recap what we did, what is a plugin? It just add an extension. Thank you for watching this video.